Hello, universe. Welcome to my world. We do Angelina Jordan videos on this channel, and sometimes we arrive from all different directions. And recently there's a new movie which has just come out, which is called A Complete Unknown, which is about the early years of Bob Dylan. And that has given me an opportunity to make a video about my two favorite artists, Bob Dylan and Angelina Jordan. Now, for the last 50 years, my sister in New York has been saying to me,
"But Alan, you do realize that Dylan can't sing, don't you?"
And in a way, comparing Bob Dylan with Angelina Jordan is like comparing an orange to a tennis ball. They're both round, but that's about where the comparison ends. And Angelina and Dylan are both singers, but that's about where the comparison ends. Angelina is primarily a jazz singer, and you can say Bob Dylan is primarily a folk singer, but he's also branched out in all different directions, as has Angelina. And you would think, how can a jazz singer really cover a folk song? It would be a good question, but there are some very good examples of how it's been done. Norah Jones covered Dylan's Forever Young when she did a tribute to the late Stevie Jobs.
May your heart always be joyful, and may your song always be sung, and may you stay forever young. Forever young. Forever young.
And Nina Simone, who among other categories is also a jazz singer, also covered several Bob Dylan songs. And this is Just Like a Woman.
She takes just like a woman, yes she does, and she makes love just like a woman, and she aches just like a woman, and she breaks like a little girl.
Actually, Angelina has covered one Bob Dylan song, although many people think it's an Adele song, and it's Make You Feel My Love. Completely different feel to the songs. Bob Dylan is in Bob Dylan mode, and Angelina, in her usual way, extracts a very sublime feeling when she sings.
When the rain is blowing in your face and the world is on your case, I could offer you a warm embrace to make you feel my love.
When the rain is blowing in your face and the whole world is on your case, I could offer you a warm embrace to make you feel my love. When the evening shadows and the stars appear, and there is no one there to dry your tears, I could hold you for a million years to make you feel my love.
And let's look at the same categories that they both approach. When Bob Dylan became a born-again Christian in the early 80s, many of his songs went in that direction with the lyrics to match. And when he sang Every Grain of Sand, it had great religious implications. But it feels very different to when Angelina Jordan is singing How Great Thou Art.
The fury of the moment, I can see the master's hand in it. every leaf that trembles, in every grain of sand. Oh Lord, my God, when I in awesome wonder consider all the words thy hand have made.
Life contains much joy, but life inevitably gives us losses as well. And both Dylan and Angelina have experienced loss and have written songs about loss. When Bob Dylan sings Sarah in 1976, it is a tribute to his wife as his marriage is breaking up. And when Angelina is singing Million Miles, it is about the loss of her grandfather. Again, a completely different feel to it.
Sarah, Sarah, whatever made you want to change your mind? Sarah, Sarah, so easy to look at, so hard to define.
We're a million miles apart. It's pulling my heart like an empty bubble to breathe from. I can't make it stop, but I know in my heart, I know that I'm never alone. I know I'm never alone. I know that I'm never alone.
But Dylan is not known for his spectacular voice. He's much more famous for his lyrics and his phrasing. And when he received the Nobel Prize for Literature, it was more for his contribution to the great American songbook. Some of his lyrics are just off the chart fantastic. When he opens up Visions of Johanna, he starts by singing, "Ain't it just like the night to play tricks when you're trying to be so quiet?" And it takes a supremely confident songwriter to have lyrics like, "Some are mathematicians, some are truck drivers' wives. I don't know what they do with their lives."
Ain't it just like the night to play tricks when you're trying to be so quiet? Some are mathematicians, some are truck drivers' wives. Don't know how it all got started. I don't know what they're doing with their lives.
But there are many, many songs of Bob Dylan that Angelina would never ever touch because they are simply too bleak. In 1962, during the Cuban Missile Crisis, Bob Dylan wrote "A Hard Rain's Gonna Fall," which is prophetic and ominous and very, very dark. Likewise, when Dylan wrote Desolation Row, he started with, "They're selling postcards of the hanging, they're painting the passports brown." How bleak is that?
I met a young child beside a dead pony. I met another man who was wounded in hatred. And it's hard, and it's hard, and it's hard, and it's hard, and it's hard rains are gonna fall.
They're selling postcards of the hanging. They're painting the passports brown.
They're selling postcards of the hanging. They're painting the passports brown.
And not surprisingly, Dylan and Angelina had a totally different sense of optimism. In 1997, in his late 50s, Bob Dylan wrote Not Dark Yet, which is a song about aging, but it's not an optimistic song. But Angelina, age 17, when she wrote 7-7, she sings, don't give up, life should be, live with hope.
Sometimes my burden is more than I can bear. It's not not dark yet, but it's getting there.
Heaven on my shoulders, falls heavy. Sometimes I feel all my dreams are slowly fading. Don't give up, don't give up. Life should be live with her.
And there's a fascinating contrast between Dylan and Angelina in the storytelling department. Bob Dylan is a consummate storyteller, and he had this wonderful 10-minute song called Lily Rosemary and the Jack of Hearts, which was an incredible yarn. And how unusual is it for a song to almost be made into a movie? And I especially like the wonderful phrasing when Dylan sings, Lily had already taken all of the dye out of her hair. And Angelina's storytelling is on a different level. She doesn't tell a story with her lyrics. She tells a story with her feeling. And when she sings California Dreamin', it is not in the tra-la-la genre of the original Mamas and Papas, but the story she tells is one of sadness and one of yearning. A completely different type of story from the Mamas and Papas, and a different type of storytelling from Dylan.
Lily had already taken all of the dye out of her hair. She was thinking about her father, who she very rarely saw. Thinking about Rosemary and thinking about the law. But most of all, she was thinking about the Jack of Hearts.
All the leaves are brown and the skies are gray. I've been full of work in the search of winter day.
And it's very fitting that we end with their respective approaches to love songs. In the mid-60s, Bob Dylan very informally did a performance of Love Minus Zero, No Limit, where he was singing about his soon-to-be fiancée Sarah with wonderfully devoted lyrics. And Donovan, the English folk singer, is looking uncomfortable, realizing that he is in the presence of greatness. And there are many Angelina Jordan songs where she captures a feeling of love. And we have chosen today Jacques Brel's If You Go Away.
My love, she speaks like silence, without ideals or violence. She doesn't have to say she's faithful, yet she's true like ice, like fire.
If you go away, as I know you must, there'll be nothing left in the world to trust. Just an empty room full of empty space, like the empty look I see on your face. Can I tell you now, as I turn to go, I'll be dying slow till your next hello. If you go away, if you go away, if you go away.
It's an unlikely comparison and contrast between Bob Dylan and Angelina Jordan. They are really my two favorite artists, but there is a difference. I would not devote all my spare time and have an exclusive YouTube channel to Bob Dylan, but that is what I've chosen to do for Angelina. We will continue down the road of Angelina Jordan in the future. Okay, gang, I'm out here. I'll catch you later. Bye.